Hey, friends. Well, I went to the insane birthday party at a water park 35 minutes away from 6 to 8 p.m. last night. It's funny to hear myself call this like some crazy bender. But Annalise got it. If you caught my post yesterday, Annalise got herself invited to a birthday party from a girl that she didn't even really know that well. We had just ran into each other. We saw each other at the violin class that she does, and they just took a shine to each other, started hanging out, smiling, sitting together. Before I knew it, we had an invitation to go to a birthday party, and it was a huge kind of pool facility with a couple of water slides. Annalise went down a water slide, a pretty fast one, all by herself for the first time. She'd never done anything like that. And of course, you get plunged into the pool at the bottom, so you just gotta be ready for that, which she was. And the way that built up, it's just one of the most powerful experiences you can have as a parent is watching your child take something on that scares them and then overcome their fear and do it. She went down the slide twice with me, and I couldn't tell how determined she was. I couldn't tell if she really wanted to go on her own or not. And I had gone into the situation thinking, you know, I don't have an outcome here. Like this is just I'm just gonna do whatever feels right. I'm just gonna follow her for whatever feels right. Well, she really wanted to go on her own, which I finally did gather and sort of like was able to help kind of create the space for her to make that decision. But then by the end of it, she didn't even want me go. Like at first, I was going down like the slide next to her, so we didn't see each other going down. But like we'd get down to the bottom around the same time. I'd be there to meet her when she came out. And eventually, she didn't want that anymore. She wanted to go down alone, arrive alone, and then she wanted me to come down after her. And watching that progression, from being on my lap to being kind of next to me in tandem to being independent is just, there's something so moving about watching your child want something, want to grow up, want to be more courageous, more alive. She's watching other little kids just bomb down this thing, right? I mean, she's one of the youngest kids there, so. But she's watching these other kids just go, and she was like, I think she was like, I want to, I'm part of this. I want to be part of this. And that followed a day, which I believe I described yesterday in my video post, where we had gone to a couple of two violin classes because a quirk of fate meant that she had two violin group classes on the same day. And then there's a recital in this beautiful concert hall at UNM, which we didn't know about, and we were not she wasn't scheduled to play at. But we went because every other kid in the class was going, and most of them were playing. And Annalise had initially expressed some fear about, I don't want to. Do I have to do a performance today? She wasn't prepared. Hadn't been sort of like, didn't know she was building up to that. And I said, no, we're not doing it. We're just going to go watch. Well, as soon as we got in that room, she wanted to get up on stage. And it was again, and what she reported afterwards, which I thought was key, was all the other kids played except me. Almost all the other kids played except me. So there was this, I want to be part of the group thing. I want to be in the mix. Um, and again, it was just watching her go from sort of being fearful about something to immediately being all in. Like she was all if she could have climbed up on that stage and just played her violin, she would have done it. We had to, her teacher and I had to say, we didn't, this today's full, we're not signed up, we can sign up for next month. But both those experiences, and in the same day kind of having those experiences, really kind of gave me an appreciation of her, first of all, just of her courage, right? Her courage as a child. My role as a parent, creating space for that kind of courage and for that kind of self-directed expansion and growth. And I think something that I have been reminded of, and I spoke a little bit about this yesterday with my thinking about music, the way that I create space for Annalise to learn music, which is related to my own musical development, and it plays out in my relationships with my students as well. But the way I create space for her to learn music is ultimately about seeing what she wants, allowing her to want something. That doesn't mean that I won't ever say we're doing this exercise even when she doesn't want to do it, or we're going to play this piece even when she doesn't want to play it. That is part and parcel, but there's a bigger picture surrender to her own impulses of, I want to do this, I want to grow in this way, that I think it's fun to go down a water slide and feel that like urgency coming out of her, because it reminds me that that's really the thing that's motivating everything. It's nice to be reminded that her sort of inner, I just want to grow into the world, like that life force energy is really what I'm serving and stewarding, and creating some boundaries around, but also creating a space of freedom for, so that can drive her life, that can drive her growth and expansion, until she gets to where she sets her own boundaries and sets her own context, doesn't need parents anymore. But creating space for courage, I think, is the theme that came up for me, or it's what showed up. And she seemed so, the other thing is, it's interesting because in the book Positive Discipline by Jane Nelson, she talks about a discouraged child, a misbehaving child is a discouraged child. And, in other words, that has implications for how you discipline children, because if they're misbehaving and all you do is address the misbehavior by trying to stop it or punish it, you'll completely miss what's going on, and you won't stop the misbehavior long term. You might stop it in the moment, but you're not going to stop it long term, and you're missing a chance to discover where it is that the child needs to heal and grow. And so the fact that like a misbehaving child is a discouraged child, when Annalise has a chance to do something like last night or even yesterday in the music class, it's like she grows up afterwards. She just relaxes. It's almost like, you can tell me what to do now because I've already asserted my freedom and autonomy. Like, I already know who I am. Now I don't mind. Now I don't have to resist or go into, and she's not trying to prove anything in relation to the boundaries around her life. She has that. She knows she has that freedom to expand herself and grow herself. And so just an ease seeps into our relationship, and just our dialogue, everything that came up after, getting out of that pool and coming home and going to bed and bedtime, and which was super late and, not customary. We're not going to do that every night. But there was just an ease about it. And I just noticed a sense of peace in her. We come to peace through courage. Courage brings us to peace. And it's ironic, or it's not ironic, but it can feel counterintuitive, because courage is facing the thing that brings us the least peace, right? Courage is leaning right face first into the thing that's scary and potentially dark, potentially dangerous. But that is the way to peace. Courage is the way to peace. And to watch a child go through that journey it informs me, lets me go, oh, right, that's how it works, right? Because I've got my own iteration of that same journey in my own life. But it's also just a good reminder as a parent to be, for what my job really is. There's so much of my job that I think I have to do that I really don't have to do. But there's a couple key things, like creating space for courage. So anyway, we are coming up. This is post number 999. If you're following me on the post on Facebook, this is number 999. That means it's been 999 days since I started this post. Tomorrow's 1,000. And I think at 1,000, I'm going to stop posting them on Facebook. We'll let my Facebook page be something else. But the posts are going to continue on YouTube. But I'm celebrating that and looking forward to, I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow. Probably just be another post. But it's exciting to be crossing a major threshold like that. So that's where I am, people. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you soon.